Right. We're reading Hands of Light by Barbara Brennan. We're on chapter 13 of the book, page number 121 of the book and 141 of the PDF.
The masochistic structure. In childhood, the masochistic personality was given was conditional. His mother was dominating and sacrificing, even to the extent of controlling his eating and excretory functions. The child was made to feel guilty for any self assertion or attempt to declare his freedom. All his attempts to resist the tremendous pressure put on him were crushed. He now feels trapped, defeated, and humiliated. His response to this situation was to hold in his feelings and his creativity. In fact, he tried to hold everything in. This led to anger and hatred. He demands to be independent, but when he interacts with others, he uses polite expressions delivered with whining disgust to indirectly manipulate others. This evokes teasing from others. The teasing then allows him to become angry. He already was angry, but now he has been given the right to express it. Thus, he is caught in a cycle that keeps him dependent.
So now what is the character that this would be, right? When we are looking at it from the control drama perspective of Celestine prophecy, this would be a poor me drama, right? So constantly being oppressed, not being allowed to express himself, and then when he gets poked too much, it allows him to become angry, which takes him into the intimidated control drama, and then back into the poor me. So over here in this character, the poor me and the poor me and intimidated drama will be playing the cycle in this game.
On the negative side, this person is one who suffers, whines, and complains, remains submissive on the outside, but will never really submit. Within are blocked strong feelings of spite, negativity, hostility, superiority, and fear that he will explode into violent rage. He may be impotent and have a strong interest in pornography. A woman is likely to be non orgasmic and feel her sexuality is unclean.
So everything is sorry. So everything in this charactered person is being held back, restrained all the time. And then it bursts out suddenly. And then again, it goes into a restraint, right? Not being able to express oneself, not being able to be oneself, always maintaining that particular facade which is there and seething inside for whatever reason. So this guy constantly will be operating on the left side of the grid all the time.
His presenting complaint when entering therapy is tension. He wants release from his tension, but unconsciously believes that releasing it and accepting what is inside leads to submission and humiliation. Thus, his unconscious negative intent is to remain blocked and to love negativity. This leads to the double bind of if I get angry, I'll be humiliated. If I don't, I'll be humiliated. To resolve this problem in therapy, he needs to become assertive, be free, and to open his spiritual connectiveness.
So in every state, the poor me character will feel humiliated, right? If so, taking a stand, making an affirmation becomes very important, and finding the resources within himself, which can only come with spiritual connections, right? Or shifting the state of consciousness. Otherwise, this person is tied up in that loop that I'm always being criticized. I'm not good. I'm being criticized. I'm not good enough. I'm being criticized. I'm not good enough. So all the time, the guy will be stuck in that loop.
In the therapeutic process, the first layer of personality encountered will be the mask that says, I'll kill, hurt myself before you kill, hurt me. After some therapy work is done exploring this inner landscape, the lower self will become conscious. It says, I will spite and provoke you. This will eventually release the higher self, which resolves the situation with, I am free.
So I am free is the clear statement over here, right? Otherwise, what is happening? The guy is stuck and his happiness is dependent on the other person. So until they find that resource within themselves to become free of the situation and their own thinking process, they will remain stuck.
Physically, he is heavy and compacted with overdeveloped muscles and shortening of the neck and waist. He carries strong tensions in the neck, jaw, throat, and pelvis, which is tucked under. His buttocks are cold. His energy is choked in the throat area and his head thrusts forward. Psychodynamically, he holds in and gets stuck in a morass in which he whines, complains, holds back feelings, and provokes. If his provocation is successful, he will have an excuse to explode. He is not conscious of his provocation and thinks he is trying to please. The energetic field of the masochistic structure. His main energy is internalized. He is hypoactive and yet boiling inside. The masochistic structure's field, figure 13.7, is fully inflated. The etheric body is dense, thick, coarse, and shaded to the gray colors rather than the blue. The emotional body is full, multicolored, and fairly evenly distributed, as is the etheric body. The mental body is large and bright, even on the lower part of the body. The intellect and emotions are more integrated. The celestial body is bright all around the body with colors of mauve, maroon, and blue. The egg is fully inflated and has a dark golden color. The egg is a bit overweight towards the bottom and forms more of an oval shape than an egg. Its outer edge is strongly defined with somewhat too much tension and thickness. The chakras that are usually open in a masochist before starting core process work are the forehead, the solar plexus, and possibly a partially open rear sexual center. He thus functions in the mental, emotional, and will aspects of the personality. The energy activity pattern of the brain shows activity in the frontal, parietal, and ventricle areas, with some of this activity extending to a small central area in the occiput, which is surrounded by a less active area. Defense systems commonly employed by the masochist are the tentacles, silent, obvious brooding, and verbal arrows.
So because the person is operating from the poor me attitude, the blame game will always be there. They will be always blaming other people for whatever they are going through. So the verbal arrows, silent brooding, and tentacles going into others to draw energy from them.
The life task and higher self of the masochistic character. The masochist needs to be free
Shivamala,
himself.
please come closer to the mic. Your volume has gone down.
The masochist needs to free himself from humiliation by freeing his aggression. He needs to express himself actively in whatever way suits his fancy whenever he wants to. The inner landscape of a masochistic character is like filigreed silver and gold. His creative force expresses itself in delicate, intricate designs, each of personal distinction and taste. Each nuance is important. When he brings this highly developed creativity out, the world will be awed.
So what is it saying, right? The person is very creative, but because from the beginning has been subdued all the time, not allowed to express themselves. When they start making that spiritual connection to become free, the real beauty of what that person is capable of will start to show up. So, there are many people who are, these people will say, I can't do it, I won't do it, I will not do it. So these are the people who keep saying, I can't, in my view. The moment they start doing stuff, it is found that they are capable of doing a lot. But because they are just basically cutting their own feet, in my view.
His higher self energies are full of caring for others. He is a natural negotiator. His heart is big. He is very supportive and has a lot to give, both in energy and understanding. He is full of deep compassion and at the same time has a great capacity for fun and joy. He is capable of creative playfulness and lightness. He will bring out all these gifts and excel in whatever he wants to do.
So again, the point is that they need to focus their attention on what they want to do and then go after it. They kind of restrain themselves unnecessarily.
The rigid structure. In childhood, the person with a rigid character structure experienced rejection by the parent of the opposite sex. The child experienced this as a betrayal of love because erotic pleasure, sexuality, and love are all the same to the child. To compensate for this rejection, the child decided to control all the feelings involved, pain, rage, and good feelings, by holding them back. To surrender is a scary thing for this person because it means releasing all these feelings again. Thus, he will not reach out for his needs directly, but will manipulate to get what he wants. Pride is associated with feelings of love. The rejection of sexual love hurts his pride. Psychodynamically, the rigid person holds back feelings and actions in order not to look foolish. He tends to be worldly with a lot of ambition and competitive aggression. He says, I'm superior and I know everything. Inside is a deep terror of betrayal. Vulnerability is to be avoided at all costs. He is afraid of being hurt.
So when we look at it from the control drama perspective, I would say this person has a bit of everything, right? He knows he's ambitious, so he can be an intimidator. He'll ask questions because he wants to know stuff. He wants to be aloof because he doesn't want to get a hurt. And he's also playing the blame game because he has been hurt when he was a child. So he's got all four character control dramas going on in this one person.
He holds his head high and backbone straight with pride. He has a high degree of outer control and a strong identification with physical reality. This strong ego position is used as an excuse to avoid letting go. This person fears the involuntary processes within the human being that are not determined by the ego. The inner self of the individual is walled off from the outpouring and inpouring of feelings. He will have sex with contempt, not love.
So again, all four natures are showing up even in this paragraph.
In holding back his feelings, he only creates more pride. He demands love and sexual feelings from others, but when he interacts with them, he seductively uses qualifiers to remain uncommitted. This leads to competition, not love. His pride is then hurt and he becomes more competitive. He is in a vicious cycle that does not get him what he wants. His presenting complaint in therapy, if he comes at all, is that he has no feelings. He wants to surrender to feelings, but he believes they will only hurt. So his negative intent is, I won't surrender. He chooses sex over love, but that doesn't satisfy him. This leads to the double bind of either choice is wrong. To surrender will hurt, to remain in pride will not allow feelings. To resolve this problem in therapy, he needs to connect his heart to his genitals. In the therapeutic process, the mask will say, yes, but after some time, the lower self or shadow self will emerge into the conscious. It will say, I won't love you. Then, as feelings begin to flow as a result of body work, the higher self will resolve the situation by stating, I commit, I love. The body is harmoniously proportioned, highly energized, and integrated. It can have two types of blocks: plate armor, like steel plates on the body, or mesh armor, like a suit of chain mesh over the body. The pelvis is tipped back and cold.
So this can be seen in the diagrams, okay, which has been posted in the group.
The energy field of the rigid structure. The main energy is held on the periphery and away from the core. He is hyperactive. The person with the rigid structure, figure 13.8, is characterized by his balance and integration, shown in the aura by a strong, bright aura that is, for the most part, evenly distributed over and throughout the body. The etheric field is strong, wide, and even, with a bluish gray color and medium coarseness. The emotional body displays a calm balance and is evenly distributed. It may not be as colorful as some of the other structures if the person has not worked to open his feelings. It may be larger in the back of the person, since all the centers are open there. The mental body is developed and bright. The celestial body may not be very bright if the person has not opened much to unconditional love or his spirituality. The causal or Ketheric template egg is strong, resilient, very well shaped and brightly colored, golden silvery with a predominance of gold. The chakras of the rigid character that are probably open before beginning process work are the rear will and sexual chakras and the mental chakras. He thus lives primarily by his mind and will. The crown and solar plexus may or may not be open. As the person starts process work and opens to his feelings, the front feeling centers begin to open. The brain activity pattern shows a lot of activity on the sides and the central rear portion of the brain. In some cases, the frontal lobes are just as active, depending on the area of life the person has decided to concentrate on. If it has been intellectual pursuits, then this area will also be as bright and active. If not, it will usually be the second most active area. If the person has pursued development in the arts like painting or music or other creative forms, I find the side lobes brighter. I find that as people work in their process, grow and become more enlightened, the activity patterns of the brain become more balanced with activity at the side, frontal, and occipital area. The bridges begin to build directly through the head to form a cross when observed from the top. When a person begins to develop his spirituality and have spiritual experiences, say in meditation, I find more activity growing in the central brain area. Energetic defense systems, most used by the rigid person, are power will display, boundary containment, and sometimes hysteria, shown in figure 12.3.
Go ahead.
The life task and higher self of the rigid character. The rigid character needs to open the feeling centers and allow his feelings to flow and be seen by others. He needs to share his feelings, whatever they are. This will allow energies to flow into and out of the core of his being and release the uniqueness of the higher self. The inner landscape of the rigid character holds adventure, passion, and love. There are mountains to climb, causes to champion, and love to be romanced. Like Icarus, he will fly to the sun. Like Moses, he will lead his people to the promised land. He will inspire others with his love and passion for life. He will then be a natural leader in most any profession he desires. He will be capable of deep contact with others and the universe. He will be able to play in the universe and enjoy life fully. It is very helpful to keep the general character structure of your patient in mind when giving a healing. This will help you as a healer to approach the healing specifically for each person and to make the healing more efficient. Just approaching the healing in terms of each patient's relationship to boundaries is very helpful. Have I come to the wrong page?
No, the right page.
The person with the schizoid character structure will need to have his boundaries identified.
Okay, so now this is important, right? Because when we are looking at characters, let's look at it because he's going to talk about the boundaries. She's going to talk about the boundary structure of each character. What is the nature? So attempt to identify with how you are dealing with situations. Our innate nature, when we are dealing with various situations in our life, will automatically connect to these characters. So it'll be very helpful for us to identify in which activity or which part of our life we are operating from which character in these 5 or 6 of the natures that she has pointed out over here, which is very clearly given in the lists that have been posted in the group.
Nikit, how did it jump from the masochistic to the schizoid without any heading? There seems to be like something missing.
No. The rigid, he's talked about the rigid character. The rigid character includes most of the characters, right? So what did she say? That just approaching the healing in terms of each patient's relationship to boundaries is very helpful. Based on that, now you're talking about all the characters.
Okay.
Can start from the top, Shimala.
The person with the schizoid character structure will need to have his boundaries identified and strengthened. He also will need to have his spiritual reality confirmed. High sense perception helps a lot with this. The schizoid's aura also needs to be charged up, and he needs to be taught how to hold a charge. The energy leaks need to be stopped.
So if you see the picture of the schizoid character, there are leaks around the knees and the ankles, right? So these need to be taken care of. And naturally, the person has to also set their boundaries.
Chakra's aura needs to be charged up, and the chakras need to be opened. The boundary needs to be strengthened. The person needs to be taught how it feels to be open so that he can learn to keep the chakras open through exercise and meditation. The oral person needs a lot of touching. The person with displaced character structure needs to charge the lower half of his field, open the lower chakras, and learn to live more through the heart rather than the will. It is very important to be very tender with sexual issues with this displaced character structure.
So basically, when you look at this character, the character is not within themselves. They're stepped out, right? The energy field is stepped out of them. That needs to be integrated again. Okay. And that can happen with connecting with sexuality as well as opening up spiritually.
The second chakra must be dealt with care, understanding, and acceptance. The healer must be very sensitive and careful when touching the lower half of the body. The person with a masochistic energy field needs to learn to move and release all the energy he has blocked. His boundaries must be respected above all. Never touch without permission. The more of the healing he can do for himself, the faster and better he will heal. His healing will always be related to creativity, which is hidden inside and needs to be brought out and expressed. The rigid character's aura needs softening. This person needs to open the heart chakra and connect to love and other feelings. The second layer of the aura needs to be activated and its activity brought to consciousness. This must be done slowly by the healer, allowing feelings to be experienced for short periods at a time. The deeper core energies of the personality need to be reached through laying on of hands. It is important for the healer to lovingly accept the personality when her hands are on the body.
So now this becomes important, right? So whenever a healing takes place, if you open up too much in one shot, then the system will not be able to handle it, right? And then you can go into something called spiritual emergencies. So what I like is not a graph like that, which goes up like that, then you're bound to fall down like this. A graph which is gradually going and rectifying. And within that gradual growth, you will have ups and downs, right? And the downs are as important as the ups, because what the downs do is it opens up what needs to be released next, right? So if I keep going up, then again there'll be suppression and then there'll be a disintegration. So whenever we are healing anyone, it has to be done in a gentle way, and you have to not overwhelm the system whenever we are doing healing. This is what I have understood from all the stuff that we've been doing, especially in
Bhaiya,
Yes,
Bhaiya, what page is this?
this
This
is
particular
126,
of the PDF.
146.
146. Okay, thank you.
Beyond character structure, As each person works on himself psychodynamically, physically, and spiritually, the aura changes. The aura becomes more balanced. The chakras open more and more. Images and misconceptions about reality within our negative belief system clear away, creating more lightness, less stagnation, and higher vibrations in the energy field. The field becomes more resilient and fluid. Creativity increases as the efficiency of the energy metabolizing system grows. The field expands and deeper changes begin to occur.
So what does this imply, right? As you start working on your field, what I keep saying that like the hemisync process is a jhadu marna process, right? All the stuff that we are doing in awareness is basically to clear our fields, to clear what we are carrying unnecessarily in our system, to drop stuff that doesn't work for us, right? As we start doing that, the field will clear up, the chakras will be more balanced and more open, the energy field will be brighter, we will be more resilient, our creativity will start to expand, everything in our life will start to improve, right? But the point is awareness. We need to start becoming aware of what is working for us and what is not working for us.
Many people begin to have a beautiful golden silvery point of light in the center of the head that grows into a brilliant ball of light. As the person develops, this ball grows larger and extends beyond the body.
So this is like the reball, right? Now we are actually creating a reball, but what will start happening when your field starts becoming more resilient? Automatically, you will start becoming the bigger magnet. We keep talking about the bigger magnet and the smaller magnet. What affects you, right? The more resilient your field becomes, the less you will be affected by what is happening around you. You will start affecting the situation more than the situation start affecting you.
It seems to be the seed kernel that brings light to and develops the celestial body into a brighter, more advanced organ, which begins to perceive and thus to interact with reality beyond the physical world. The location of this light seems to be in the root area of the crown and third eye chakras, where the pituitary and pineal glands are located. As the mental body grows brighter, sensitivities to reality beyond the physical develop. One's way of life changes to a natural flow of energy, exchange, and transformation with the universe.
So what does this imply over here, right? As what does say? One's life changes into a natural flow of energy exchange between transformation with the universe. So what is happening? As we start growing and the field starts to clear up, we step out of the control dramas. We are willingly giving energy and we are willingly accepting energy exchange. And everyone around us starts to grow, including ourselves.
As the mental body grows brighter, sensitivities to reality beyond the physical develop. One's way of life changes to a natural flow of energy exchange and transformation with the universe. We begin to see ourselves as a unique aspect of the universe, completely integrated with the whole. Our energy system is seen as an energy transformation system, which takes in energy from the environment, breaks it down, transforms it, and then resynthesizes it and sends it out into the universe in a higher spiritual state. Thus, we are each living transformation systems. Since the energy we transform has consciousness, we are transforming consciousness. We are truly spiritualizing matter.
So In Robert Monroe's book, The Far Journeys, we talked about something called loosh. And the point was that loosh was developed when people felt the feeling of love, when they gave freely, and that expanded the energy field. So this is exactly what she's talking about here, not in so many words. So she's very clearly saying that when we go into these higher states of consciousness, we start affecting consciousness, we start transforming everything around us, we start transforming ourselves, right? Because we are tapping into that spiritual essence that is actually within us. In Vedanta, you'll say the Atma, right? In various practices, you can call it the prana, whatever you call it. That deep sense of self, that higher self starts to get connected with us.
Character structure and life task. Each character structure is a model of a transformation system gone awry. First, we block the energy. It becomes clogged and slowed down within our energy systems. We do that by living according to our negative beliefs. We really are out of reality a lot of the time because we live and react to the universe as we think it is, not as it really is.
So again, going into control dramas, creating the facade, right? Which is not what our true nature is, and what it is not what reality and the universe is all about. We can start treating the universe as hostile, right? But the universe is actually very compassionate. A lot of stuff is done for us without our effort, but we do not acknowledge it, right? So that's why gratitude and appreciation start becoming so important if we want to clear up our field.
But this does not work for long. We create pain in our lives by doing this. Sooner or later, we hear the message that we are doing something wrong. We change ourselves and our energy systems to alleviate the pain. We unclog our systems and transform the energy. In doing this, we not only help to clear away our personal negative beliefs, but we also affect those around us in a positive way. We thus transform energy.
So as soon as your field starts to get cleared, anyone coming in contact with you will also automatically start to clear, because we start becoming the bigger magnet.
When we begin releasing our blocks, we do our personal task. This frees our energy so that we can do what we have always wanted to do in life. That deep longing we have had since childhood, that secret dream, that is one's life task.
So again, this is your ikigai, right? Something that you're passionate about, something that you're good at doing, and something that you are happy doing, right? Most people are square pegs in round holes because they don't tap into this. That is what is their dil ka khwahish, right? What is it that they really want to do? Finding their passion, that becomes very important, right? To release your blocks, because many of the blocks are created in childhood by parents telling their children what they want to do, and parents living their lives through their children. So when we start releasing these blocks, we start becoming what we are and what we want to be.
When we begin releasing our blocks, we do our personal task. This frees our energy so that we can do what we have always wanted to do in life. That deep longing we have had since childhood, that secret dream, that is one's life task. That which you have wanted to do more than anything in your life is your life task. It is what you came here to do. By clearing away your personal blocks, you pave the way to accomplish your deepest longing. Let your longing lead you. Follow it. It will bring you happiness.
So most of the time, the thing that we need to do is actually step out of our own way. Our egos actually create a lot of problem. The ego operates with the small guy, right? What we are talking about here is tapping into the big guy, getting into what we are really meant to come, what have we really come here to do. The small guy doesn't know that, the big guy does. So we need to come and connect with the big guy.
You have designed your body and your energy system as a tool to perform your life task. It is made up of a combination of energy consciousness that best suits what you have been incarnated to do.
So again, over here, we decide what we want to do. We have set our life journey. We have set up tasks for ourselves. We have created the environment which will be most conducive for us to be able to achieve our life purpose and our life task. But when we come here, we forget, and then we start stepping in on our own toes, which results in getting us confused and all tied up, right? The more clarity we become, the less jumbled up we are, the better we will connect with what we have come here to do.
No one else has that combination, and no one else wants to do precisely what you want to do. You are unique. When you block the flow of energy in your energy system that you created for your task, you also block your task. The general patterns of blocking that people do is called character structures and defense systems.
So again, character structures and defense systems. She talked about it in the shields and all that over here, but it is also the control dramas. You start building up the control dramas to block your task. The moment you drop the control dramas, that is when you will connect to your task, because the control drama is a total fraud. It is just a facade, nothing else.
These are all ways by which you habitually separate yourself from what you came to do on the world task level. They are also direct manifestations of what you don't know about life that you have come here to learn. Therefore, you have your lesson crystallized into your body and your energy system. You have built and fashioned your schoolroom according to your own specifications. You live inside it.
So again, Robert Monroe said that when we are looking at this Earth life system from the higher aspects or higher states of consciousness, this is like a school. We've come here to learn. Okay, we've come here to grow. And all of us have set our own lessons, our own syllabus to learn, right? And we have also brought with us each and every character, each and every tool that will help us to be able to learn the lesson that we want to learn. We have to simply allow things to happen rather than wanting to control everything that is happening around us. That shift is what will connect us with that higher self that knows all that we have come here to do.
As you will learn, energy blocks lead eventually to physical disorder. Conversely, these disorders can be traced to your character structure or the way you block your creative energies.
So again, right, the body holds score. So any illness has a psychodynamic effect, has a mental aspect, has an emotional aspect. So if you are, and where that issue has originated from becomes important to understand, whether it is coming from an emotional aspect, from a mental aspect, from a spiritual aspect, or a functional aspect of what is happening. That becomes very important when we are attempting to heal someone.
Therefore, whatever your illness may be, it is directly related to your life task. Your illness is directly related through your energy system to your deepest longing. You are sick because you are not following your deepest longing. So I ask again, what is it that you most long to do with your life, more than anything else in the world? Find how you stop yourself. Clear away those blocks. Do what you wish to do, and you will get well.
Great. So now the point here is that what I would suggest is that all of us, now we are going to meet again on Monday. So let's all of us actually, Shivamla, you can stop the share. Okay. So we can have some videos. So what I would suggest is that go through the PDF again, all the pictures and all the structures I've posted on the WhatsApp group already. So what we need to do for ourselves is to figure out which is the character structure that we are operating from most, right? Equate it with the Celestine prophecy control dramas also, because that makes it very easy to understand, right? And then to figure out that why are we doing it? What is the incidents? What are the things that are happening in our life which are triggering that character structure to come up? Because these are all control dramas, right? She has made it on the basis of the energy field and the Celestine prophecies of the actions that we are taking in a particular situation. So both of them can merge very well. All of us have a multiplicity of characters. We are not simply one character. We can have a predominant character that 50% of the time we operate like this. So this can really give us a lot of insight into where we are operating from. And that becomes very, very important. Okay, anyone, any questions, anything to say, anything to add?
There is food for thought. Proportionately list each character structure that makes up your personality or body self. For example, 50% schizoid, 20 oral, 15 displaced, 5 majestic, and 10 rigid.
Yeah.
It's in point number 7.
Yeah. So that's the thing that we want to actually look at. How much of which character are we operating with? Okay. That's the thing. Meenaji, you're not on the